It's hot and humid, so we're just gonna ignore whatever the hell my hair is doing. And we're gonna talk about what I read in June. Listen, I recognize if you only watch my wrap-ups and TBRs, you're not gonna know what these sticky notes are. Basically, right after I filmed my TBR, I went through Storygraph, because you can like separate it, your TBR and whatnot via genre and whatnot, and gay books are considered a genre, so I just had them show me every gay book, and I wrote every single one down that I really wanted to read, and I read 8 of them. One of them did get thrown into a vlog as like a little extra thing, but you know, that's fine. But yeah, that's what that is. Also, we're ignoring the fact that I did not get to Shadow of Self and Man in the Morning. Would I have been able to if I had not read those 8 books? Yes. But then I wouldn't have read 12 gay books for Pride Month, okay? Listen, I may have taken off the buy nails by now, but like, it was very important that I read all the gay books, and I did. I think, yeah, only 4 books I read were not gay. And like, I guess some of them were gay if you squint. We'll talk about those in a minute. Okay, like, ignore weird cuts because a girl needs coffee breaks, okay? Also, she's warm in this flannel. I'm wearing this flannel just for you, H, okay? Because, like, a girl, it's hot. But I read 16 books in June, DNF'd 1. 12 of the books that I did read were gay. 13 if you count the DNF one, which I don't, because you'll hear about that in a second, because I will start with that and the reading vlog books first. But my average rating for the month was 3.75, which is very high for me. There was 0 5-star reads. There was almost 1. I did bring it down to a 4, but it was initially a 5. I'll talk about all this. But I did get a lot of 4s and 4.5s. So there's that. I think the only things that got under 4 stars was 1 gay book, and the rest were, I know, I guess that one was a gay book as well, but like most of the ones that were under 4 stars were the non-gays, so we love that for us. But I will first go through the DNF, and I'm gonna be marking it down at the same time, so like, ignore me doing things. But yes, the DNF one, Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May, which was a book club pick, and also part of my Pride reading vlog. All the reading vlogs mentioned will be linked below, as is normal. But I knew going into it that it was World War I setting, or post-World War I, which is not a time period I like to read about. Anything around the time of either World Wars, I do not like reading about. Like, even me writing my own book and doing a bunch of stuff with that, I like don't even want to put them in. But like, I know I have to because I'm talking about important times in history in it, but like, I don't like those reading about those time periods. I don't like writing about those time periods. So I knew going into it, it was gonna be a hit or miss. But I thought like the characters and the actual setting itself, and maybe the writing could do it for me. And then I found out very quickly, and like 2 pages in, I should have known from the quote that started the book, that it is also a Great Gatsby retelling. No. I got like 45 pages in. I was getting angry, visibly angry at some of the characters, and I could tell where this was going. 1, because it's a Great Gatsby retelling, and 2, because I'm not dumb. The actual setting is in fake island, and there's witches and such, but magic is illegal. Prohibition is actually magic, not alcohol, that's illegal. And World War I happened because of magic, and that's why prohibition. Listen, we don't need to talk about how I feel about that. It just feels icky. You could have just made up a fake war. I'm just saying that. But I'm not gonna go much into it because it is mentioned in my reading vlog. Like, I do talk about it. But basically, none of the characters were good. The setting is a fake island, so I don't know why like the whole entire thing couldn't be fake. I don't know about like the main character. She seems very naive, which the synopsis does say she's naive, which like from what I know of her background from reading like 45 pages, she shouldn't be naive. How is she this naive? But yeah, there's that. They stared at each other across like a parking lot or something. So like that's how I know they're semi-gay. That's how I know they're the two characters that are getting together for the lesbian relationship. But like I didn't care enough. The writing style was fine, I guess. Like if Francesca May writes anything else, I'll pick it up. Cause like the writing style was fine. It was just everything else I hated. And that's that. So I did DNF it. I was gonna wait until I got to part 1, but like I was getting very angry. And we don't need to talk about that. So there's that. And then we'll go into just ignore as I pick up the books. Then there's the, I should talk about the whole entire episode 2 of the Big Boy Reading Vlog series, which is gonna be the last one until October, where I'm doing another one, for like a little extra thing. It wasn't planned, all this stuff, and then Dion month happened, blah, 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 blah. I'll talk about it when October comes. But, for now, it's like low-key canceled series because I don't care enough, really, and like the point was to read all the books that are very large, that are on my backlog and TBR and such. But like, I'm already doing that with reading all these Brandon Sandersons. Like, that's every large book I need to care about. So, I read the whole entire Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I'm not taking them out of the box. Again, okay, I want to sell them in this box, okay? Like, I'm gonna unhaul them at some point, but I'm gonna get rid of them in this box. I'm not gonna tell you the ratings. The first one gave me such high hopes. Oh my god, I thought, one, I liked it so much more than like the whole entire Mortal Instruments series. I think I've only rated one book in the Mortal Instruments series the same that I rated book 1. And that's because it was like the restart, like it was book 4, so it was like the restart of the trilogy, like second part, and blah blah blah. I liked the setting, I liked the atmosphere, the characters were pretty okay. Like, Will, is that his name? Couldn't fight me still, but like, he was okay, I guess. He was just a copy-paste of Jace. But whatever. The mystery was very interesting, and all that fun stuff. And then book 2 happened, that was based around Will. So all the mystery stuff was just Will's background, but if I already don't like Will, then why do I care? I should be holding up the book, but I don't want to because it's big. This is the view you get. I don't care about Will, so like why would I care about that? The cool atmosphere never comes back. Like it's still in the same setting, but they never bring back that cool atmosphere, and it's very upsetting. Also, everyone who like sees that vlog will know that I'm Team Jem and I win in the long run, okay? That part actually almost made me cry after the fact, when she's like basically immortal and non-aging, and it's been like hundreds of years since these books. I think they're all in the Lady Midnight series. Don't quote me, but like I saw something at the end of book 3 that was like, hey, they're all coming back in Lady Midnight. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta read that anyways, okay? I guess I see how it is. Basically, the plan for Cassandra Clare for me is I'm going to try Lady Midnight and see if I do like her writing enough to continue. Because at this point, it's just very young YA. Like, it's slowly aging up. So I think Lady Midnight and the rest of them, even though they're YA, they're definitely older YA, like 16, 17. So I think I can, like, do those ones and I'll enjoy them. Also, the fact that they're thickums. But we'll see how that goes. But the third one wasn't bad, but like still a letdown in comparison of book 1, and I'm upset. And yeah, I had to fight myself from DNFing the second book, like, and just canceling that whole entire video, because like, but yeah, that's that was that whole entire vlog. I'm just gonna throw those over there. Do not land on the Brandon Sanderson. And then there was the Pride Month reading vlog, which I've already mentioned, that included Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, which I loved. I just really want tamales. Like, that book made me really want tamales. I almost cried at multiple points, and I highlighted a good chunk of it. It was just heartbreaking and beautiful, and that's where I'll leave that. Basically, I recommend all of these books. Wild and Wicked Things was in this, but like, we don't need to talk about that. That's the only one I don't recommend from this vlog. Then, because I replaced Wild and Wicked Things from my lesbian representation with The Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics by Olivia Wade. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. That book was fine. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was kind of slow for me. Low-key Buddy read it, and the other person, like Dion, read it super fast. Like Dion read it one day. I took multiple days to read it. I did not have the same experience as her, apparently. But it was slow for me for a 200-page book. The romance itself was great. Some of the science stuff was pretty good. But it's kind of long. Also, I want to fight every man. Like, every single one. There's, like, one that I don't want to fight, but also, what if his plan hadn't worked? So, like, he has one punch. Not really, but, like, I'll give him a stern look while I fight the other ones, including the brother. He deserved way, like, one quick apology and everything's fine. Like, nah, fam. Nah, you owe me. You owe me. Girl Slipper Thorn by Melissa Bessardost. Every single time, I'm gonna pronounce it every way I can. I don't know if I'll pick up any of her other books, but because I know the person H who recommended me Girl Slipper Thorn read Melissa Bessardost's other book, Girls Made of Snow, Snow and Glass of Snow, something like that, this month, and it's very slow, but she did love it. I read Girl Slipper Thorn and for the bi representation, and I'm obsessed. I have two favorite books. They're competing for best book of the month right now. I'm trying to decide. And that is one of them. The other one was also part of that blog. And I want to choose it. They're favorites for completely different reasons. Like, the other one is just cute and happy. I'll talk about that one in a minute. But this one was heartbreaking. Like, the writing style alone was great. But also, like, just, like, how she talks about loneliness and being alone, just heartbreaking. I highlighted so much of that. I get why people don't like it, because it is very much more of a character driven than plot driven. Like, anything that happens in the plot is actually just based around these characters' experiences. Like, the fact that she does a thing that starts the whole entire plot of the book halfway through the book is because she's been lonely her whole entire life. Like, these people have been ignoring her whole entire life, and then are surprised when she's just like, I don't want to have the thing that makes you hate me, like, and ignore me. People are dumb. But yes, I loved it. It was beautiful, well written. I cried. And then there was Loveless by Alice Oseman, which was also great. I almost cried for that one. That one felt a little long. It was the opposite problem from A Lady's Guide to Celestial Mechanics, where that one felt slow and was super short. Loveless was super fast. Like, I read it in a day, but it's 400 plus pages, which I get. Like, coming to terms with your sexuality and figure out your sexuality does take a long time, and she isn't completely in terms with, like, fine with it by the end of the book. Like, she's come out to, like, 4 people, and those are her best friends, but other than that, like, she doesn't come out to anyone. She doesn't plan to, for as far as I can tell, but, like, it was still beautiful. It's about the main character, Georgia, who just wants to love, but over this period of the book realizes that love is not for her, because she's aro ace, and all the things that she does trying to figure this out. I was reading it with a bunch of people for a buddy read, and we all have very similar opinions for the Georgia Jason thing, where, like, she did say when they were eating ice cream on the first date that, like, it was just gonna be a test thing to see if she could fall in love with him like that. And then he gets mad when it was all an experiment. Like, dude, she told you. She didn't tell you why and the full extent, but she did tell you. But yes, this book is actually just about friendship. It's about a character who's looking for love, and the point of the book is the love of friendship, and it was beautiful. It almost made me cry. I highly recommend it. And then we got another physical book, so excuse us, I didn't get that one. Okay, the one that has to combat Girl, Slip, and Thorn for best book of the month. So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. I want to reread it already again. I was about 30 pages in when I got the urge to start highlighting it, and I was like, no, you don't know if you want to highlight it. I did dual read most of the books in this vlog, but this one, even though I originally wasn't planning to, and I didn't initially like the audiobook narrator. He grew on me, but like I just want to read this again with just my eyeballs and go through and highlight all the parts that like made me scream or laugh really, really hard, which is a lot of them. This book is funny and cute. I was screaming, I was laughing and screaming at the same point. Like, at one point I was screaming because they're not recognizing that they're the ones that are in love. Like, they don't recognize they're both in love with the other one, or like the other one's in love with them type thing, but they're in love with, yeah, you get what I'm saying. They're both in love with each other, but they don't recognize that the other person's like, so I was screaming about them not recognizing this, but also laughing about just how funny this book is. I thought this was going to be very similar to In Deeper Waters, especially for age range, and it does say it is. I think it's actually slightly older maybe, but I don't say 14-year-olds should read this. The 15 is fine, but 14 seems a little young. Especially with all the talk of boners in this book, okay? But this book, yes, this was the MLM representation, despite the fact that the main character is bi or pan. And a lot of the like almost every single character you can see in this book is at least a little bit gay, okay? And also, the kingdom's name is Chickpea. It's beautiful. Basically, this is an Arthurian retelling mixed with D&D. So Eric is Arthur and Matt is Merlin. Eric has killed the evil bad guy that's sitting on the throne, and Matt's like, hey, sit on the throne until we can get the last heir of the previous family to come and take the throne. They go and find her, she dead. So he's now the king, but there's this whole contingency point of the throne where you have to bind your soul to someone by the time you're 18, but his 18th birthday is only 3 months away. So he's made up this plan to basically try to see if he has the possibility of like teaming up with it, like combining his soul with any of his friends, because he doesn't want to do that to someone who doesn't know him and he doesn't know. And as this is happening, he's in love with Matt, and it's clear that Matt's in love with him, but he doesn't recognize it. And Matt doesn't recognize that Eric's in love with him. Like, they're both freaking idiots, and I love them for it. So he has to go. So it's basically their antics, and he's getting the way to do it from the Journal of the Dead Princess's journal, and her love story. And so, like, getting locked in a closet. So he makes a plan with Matt to get locked in a closet with one of their friends. But then it's him and Matt locked in the closet until they have an important conversation. There's the having one of them swoon in his arms, except Matt gets knocked around by the bad guy or monster, and swoons in his arms, not the person that was expected. There's the, instead of dancing, like teaching the other one to dance so you can get all really touchy, it was sword fighting. The person who was teaching him how to sword fight didn't even touch him once. He was poking him with a fake sword. But then he has to teach Matt for like 20 minutes and they get all touchy-feely. And it is so funny. Okay, there was a car, and it interrupted my thoughts. So I don't know what I was planning to say. But basically, spoiler for the vlog, I really love this one. This is the one that's competing with Girls From Thorn. I kind of want to choose this one just so, because like either way, Legendborn's gonna win because that one's a 5-star. But like, I want to put this one up so it can be the 2 Arthurian retellings. Also, I'm gonna ask for it again. Any Arthurian retellings we can think of. hit me up. Helen did give me one in my comments of the Pride reading vlog. I think it's one that I may have read when I was young, but I don't remember. Like, it looks familiar, but like, maybe I'm just going crazy. But it is part of my TBR. But yeah, I want to like make a thing where I read a bunch of them anyways. Like, I've started to screenshot them when I see them on my TBR, on Goodreads/Storygraph. So that's the thing that's happening. So like, hit me up with those. Okay, we back. That was all the reading vlog books / DNFs. So we're going to the like, technically 7 because one of those did get thrown into the vlog, but 7 books that I just read for fun, and or the one Brighter thing that I did get to. I really, listen, I was gonna do an audiobook at least for Shadow Self, but like, nope, it's not available literally anywhere. It's love that for me. But I'm just gonna go in chronological order for these ones, and a quick little thing, and my rating. So, the first one was The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Neville. I 100% pronounced that wrong. Which I gave 4 stars. I want to know everything. I was not expecting the plot twist. I was low-key expecting something, but not that. And I do plan to finish the series. I don't know how soon, but like, I should do it soon, especially since they're very short. So like, I should do that. And then there was A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. This is the one that was originally 4 stars or 5 stars. This was the one that was originally 5 stars, because in the beginning, my heart, I spent like a very long time, like most of the month, trying to figure out what the heck to write for a review for like both Goodreads/Storygraph and Instagram for my Instagram post, which is why I'm very behind on Instagram posts. But I finally did figure that out. So if you like want to see like me actually writing multiple paragraphs for a review, go like check that out. But basically it broke. I was like so in love with this book, but like, I recognize that it's not a perfect book, so I had to bring it down to 4, but like, I loved it. I loved it so much. I actually remember this one, so like, I can actually tell you what happens, which is, ignore the word cut while I try to remember every character's name. So Viola, like, faked her own death during a battle or war or something, so that she could, start wearing dresses and become a woman. Because that's how she's always identified herself. Well, she hasn't always identified herself, but that's what she recognizes herself as. And so everyone thinks she is dead. She lives with her brother and his wife and their son, helping around the house and whatnot. But then they get a letter from her best friend, Grace Wood. His sister sends a letter to be like, hey, I can't go out into society because my brother needs me. And so the sister forces Viola, which I had thoughts about that, but forces Viola to go with her to be like, hey, you're like the one person who knows Gracewood well enough to like figure out what the heck is happening. Turns out he's super depressed, and also addicted to drugs for pain meds for his leg, because his best friend died and he blames himself. And so she's there, like his best friend, but he doesn't know that she's his best friend. He slowly falls in love with her. She's all like, yeah, I've always been in love with you, but like, I didn't realize it until I realized who I was on the inside. So, yeah, my favorite part is when he goes to kiss her on a beach, and he leans down and he notices the pattern of freckles on her neck, and then he's like, oh my god, you're my best friend. And I'm like, dude, knowing what your best, like, being able to recognize your best friend when she is now a woman, and you haven't been able to recognize her any other point in time, but being able to recognize her from the pattern of freckles on her neck. Kind of gay, my dude. How close do you look at your best friend to recognize her freckles? Like, but yes, that happens. His initial reaction, not the best, but he does make it up to her and apologize, and she gets hired to help take care of his sister and get her out in society. And there's a weird kidnapping plot I do not like, but they admit their feelings and their love, and listen, I have feelings. It was beautiful. Also, I actually liked the epilogue. I'm pretty sure it was an epilogue. I actually liked it. It was beautiful. I do highly recommend it to everyone. Even if I did bring it down to 4 stars, it was still great. And yeah. There was To Be Devoured by Sarah Tantlinger. We can blame H for this one. It is a lesbian horror. Basically the main character just really wants to eat raw flesh. There are many things she does to do this. She eats her girlfriend in 2 ways. I can't say anything because it's super short. It is very gross. It starts out very creepy, like she has been raising these Luna moths in the basement or something. And as they die, she takes their wings to make actual wings out of them, like full size, like, you know, the fake fairy wings you get as a kid or something, for her girlfriend. And her girlfriend's like, what the fuck? And that's how it starts. So it starts off very unnerving and creepy. And as it's going, it gets creepier and creepier. And you don't know if you should, like, trust her and what she thinks, or if everyone else is right. And things happen. It is very grotesque. Check trigger warnings, because, like, some things happen. But if you think you can handle it, I recommend. Kind of reminds me of Tender as Flesh, but faster read, like much faster read, and also gay. So okay, the next one is we're blaming on Dion, which is Sunstone Volume 1. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name because he's Croatian. There's no way I could do it. I didn't mention that To Be Devoured was 4 stars. Sunstone, also 4 stars. Gaze graphic novel. Love. Yep, that's what I'm going with. It was a book I read in one day, in one sitting, and I'm pretty sure I was drinking vodka iced tea at the same time and I accidentally spilled some of it on my computer at the time that I was reading it. So that happened. Then there was Falling to You by Georgina Kirsten, which is, I think, the only one of these that isn't the classic that I've rated below 4 stars. At a 3.5, it's very short, like, very, very short. If you have Kindle Unlimited, I say go ahead and read it, because it's like 50 pages or something. I don't know why it took me so long, but it did. The main character is Bai, I think. She is a woman who just moved to the town Appleton, and she's dealing with her mother and her mother's toxicity, and she runs into a childhood friend, and her childhood friend is super hot, and she's like madly in love with her, like, oh my god, and so they decide to date, and it's just like 50 pages of them being cute together. That's it. So I recommend 3.5. It's just because it was very short and like nothing really happens, but like it was still cute. Oh, we gotta do the one other physical book. The Alloway of Law by Brandon Sanderson. Listen, I've gotten to page 2 of Shadow of Self. We don't need to talk about how far I am behind in this universe, but that's fine. I was not knowing, like, me words difficult. I did not know what to expect. Like, I knew it took place about 300 years after the first era of Mistborn, and something has to be happening with the magic system or something that's different from the first ones, and I was like, there's guns and trains and stuff, weird, interesting, like, that's not something you'd expect in the Mistborn universe, but it's very Wild West mixed with Mistborn, and I did not expect to love it, okay? Hear me out. Wild West thing's not usually my style, but like this one, hell yeah. Wax, hilarious. What's his best friend's name? Wayne? Wayne and I are the same person. Wayne is just over here, just wanting a woman who can kill him, and being just like wanting to blow shit up. And why is that me? Why am I the comedic relief who's crazy? But basically, Wax was someone who basically was a lawman in what would be considered the Wild West. But then his uncle dies, so he has to like return back to the city, become like this lord and do all this stuff for this dying family name and whatnot. And he also has to get married to continue the family name. His fiance, not the biggest, like, whatever, I don't care about her. Fiance's cousin, slash, I think she's, spoilers, I can't say anything about that, never mind. Cousin, question mark, listen, they belong together. Hear me out. That's the thing, like, the romance, like, they have a little bit of flirtation, and the romance in this book was 10 times better than Vin and Elend. And they didn't even do anything. She was just like, yeah, I could be into you. And he was like, and he's in his head like, yeah, I'm like madly into you. You're like super attractive and brilliant and you understand me. But like, I am a 40-year-old man who has a lot of trauma. So like, and you're like 20. Like, you should not have to deal with this. And why is it so much better than Elend and Vin? I don't know. The references to the first era was hilarious. Like, the town of the city is like Elendil or something like that. And there's this really important gun that the woman who named it Vindication. I think that's what she calls it. You know, after Vin. But basically a bunch of kidnapping and also stealing ploys are happening in the city. And one of the people who get kidnapped is his fiance. So he has to help try to figure out what the heck is happening. The guy who is running the actual crime part, because there's like two leaders, and one of them is like some higher up in the lord and ladies situation, wanting to do it for some reason. And then there's the guy who's in charge of like the crime boss guy, and he is someone from Wax's past that he does not like. Many things happened. The ending was weird. Like, the main fight, I couldn't tell you what happens. I could tell you the very basic important things, but like, other than that, I don't know. But the actual mystery, great. The relationships with the characters, great. The comedy hit in this book so hard, especially in comparison to the Mistborn era, first era. And then also the magic system is interesting because like it's slightly different, and I'm just like, what's happening here? But yes, I enjoyed it. I went with 4 stars, right? Yes, I went with 4 stars. So yes, I should just sit down and reach out myself, but like, when do I do anything I'm supposed to do? You know? Okay, we're down to the last 2, which are the classic and the nonfiction. I have this goal to read, every year read 12 classics, but also I added 12 nonfiction books, as well to the goal. And, these are, I wanted gay ones because it's Pride Month, right? And, like, do I read one every month? No, I think I'm behind on both. But, whatever. All Boys Aren't Blue. This was one that I kept on putting on and taking off my TBR all over the place. I think I put it on my Goodreads TBR like 5 times. But it was available at the library, like the audiobook was, and he reads it himself. George reads it himself, and whoo, is his voice, I love his voice. Like, he could just read me anything. He could read me the Bible and I'd listen, okay? He could read me Game of Thrones. Which, like, if you've seen how my Game of Thrones copies look, they're about the size of a Bible. So, this book is about his experience as a black gay man, growing up as a black gay man, and how society looks at gay culture, but also black culture, but also gay black culture. And it was very impactful. He is such a good writer, and I think I read 70% of it in like one sitting, and then I had to take a break because like, whoo. So I finally finished it the last day of June. But it was great. I don't know why I don't want to give it 5 stars. I don't know why, but I still love it. It's great. Everyone who, like, look up a trigger warning first, but, like, everyone who wants to and can read this book, please. I recommend the audiobook. It is great, and a good pick for a class, or not a classic, a nonfiction book, so I rated it 4 stars. And then, the only, one that I rated 3 stars that was gay is Orlando by Virginia Woolf. I am 99.9% sure the audiobook I could get my hands on was the abridged edition, because it's only like 2.5 hours instead of the normal like 8 hours. But I'm fine with that. I got all the important information. I'm also gonna listen to like a podcast where they talk about it, so like I'll get all the information in my brain about it. It's fine. I'm not mad about missing out, but like it was fine. I guess it's about a person who falls in love with a beautiful woman, but then the woman leaves him. And so his solution is to go, at one point he's like, I don't want to do anything, I'm just gonna go hang out with nature and dogs, and I will never talk to another person ever again. And the only way I'll talk to anyone ever again is if the dogs suddenly learn how to talk. And I'm just sitting there just like, mood. I was laughing my face off during sprints, being like, God, why is that me? But then he decorates his house and throws some parties. There's some weird stuff with a woman on a table. And then he wakes up the next day and he's suddenly a woman. And then it's about her going through life as a woman and like having a family and how society views women, especially in a time when it did not view women well. And all that stuff. So that's what it's about. It was okay. Like, it wasn't, you know, when classics, you can like be like, okay, yeah, clearly this is a classic, it's great, I love it, Pride and Prejudice. Me with any Jane Austen, actually. And then there's the classics that are like, okay, why is this a classic? 1, because it's boring, or 2, because it's like super problematic. Like, why? Who chose this to be the thing that we continue to read to this day? And then there's just like the middle ground ones where you're just like, okay, like, it's okay, I get why people like it, and it's fine, I guess. And that for me is Orlando. Like, it was okay, I guess. I love how I forgot the main character's name when the title of the book is the main character's name. I'm great. But basically, it was fine. Like, nothing's extremely special, but I did enjoy it. It was fine. That's all I can say. 3 stars. That was the last book I read for June. Alright, the 2 vlogs will be linked below, as well as my Goodreads, Storygraph, and Instagram. I am somewhat active on Instagram. I gotta do better about posting my books on the actual Instagram. Like, I post the ones from vlogs as stories, so like if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see what I'm reading books for vlogs earlier than anyone else, even earlier than the Goodreads people, so like, be happy. And I keep them all in like a highlights thing and whatnot, but the actual ones that I write, actual like paragraph long reviews, unless if it's a Lady for a Duke, then I do like 4 paragraphs, I am very behind on, so like I gotta work on that. But I am active on that again, for the first time in years. I am very active on Goodreads. I'm always on Goodreads, so like, follow me on Goodreads. Storygraph as well, as if you want, like, it's the same exact thing. Okay, I'm back. The mailman came, so the outro was cut weirdly. But yeah, hit me up on all the social media. I'm always on there. And sometimes YouTube gives me notifications if you leave comments. It didn't 3 days ago, but you know, that's fine. But yes, give me the Arthurian recommendations, please, for the love of God. I need them. It doesn't even have to be books, like TV shows and movies as well. BBC Merlin, don't worry, I've seen it like a dozen times. It's but yes, I'll see you in the next video. I think I know what it's gonna be, so you know. But yeah, talk to you all later. Stay tuned for many vlogs in which I read weird books while wearing a flannel, because it's quite literally called platypus, okay? See you later.